Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Team Tuesdays in 2021. I want to introduce myself. I'm Kristen Lenig. I'm the Central Field Director for Special Olympics Pennsylvania, and I will be your host today. My teammate, Haley Fusak, who is the SOPA Marketing and PR Manager, will be operating the presentation. And joining our team today is our athlete co-MC, Lisa Barber. Lisa has been a SOPA Philadelphia athlete for 32 years. She has been trained for 3 different athlete leadership roles: athlete representative, global messenger, and most recently, health and fitness coordinator. Now, she has participated in soccer, basketball, volleyball, bowling, athletics, bocce, and swimming. Lisa's favorite sport is soccer, where she plays goalie for her team. She considers Special Olympics to be her passion and her life. Now, she is committed to doing the Polar Pop and is currently fundraising. She has even told her supporters for every $100 she raises, she will pop another balloon over her head. So please, everybody, welcome tonight, Lisa.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to serve as co-MC for tonight's Team Tuesday webinar. I would like to remind everyone that on this webinar, your microphones will be muted, but we encourage everyone to have their video cameras on.
As a reminder, this webinar will be recorded and a link will be sent out later.
As you all know, the purpose of the webinar series is to connect with all of you and share helpful and motivational content to continue our mission. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. First, we will kick off this webinar by hearing from Matt Aaron, the President and CEO of Special Olympics Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Lisa. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 2021. I hope your year is off to a good start. I'm really excited to be here tonight for a couple of reasons. First, we have a great topic tonight and a great presenter. Bob Devlin is someone that I have worked with now for many, many years, and I'm grateful for the many different ways that Bob has helped Special Olympics Pennsylvania. He's done numerous things with us and for us over the years, from helping with strategic plans to helping facilitate the City of Inclusion summits that we did in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and multiple other things that I think you'll hear a little bit more about. But I wanted to thank Bob for all that he's done and giving up his time in addition this evening to share some insights with us. So I'm excited, and I know Bob will help facilitate a great discussion this evening. But I'm also grateful to Lisa for the introduction. It's always great to be involved in a meeting with Lisa Barber. Lisa was, I believe, the very first athlete I met here in Pennsylvania before I came to SOPA. In fact, Lisa, you and I were working on a plan for Philadelphia before I actually even started in this job. So it's great to go all the way back with you that far and to know that you've been an athlete leader in Philadelphia for so many years now. So again, welcome everybody. I hope you enjoy this evening. I'm certainly looking forward to it. So Kristen, let me turn it back over to you and Lisa to introduce Bob.
Thank you, Matt. We are very excited to welcome Bob Devlin. Bob Devlin is an executive consultant and president of Transformation Strategies Incorporated. He works with leadership teams and change leaders to help them unleash the best of the human spirit in their organizations. As senior faculty in the Organization Development Program at Georgetown University, he has trained hundreds of leaders and change agents for over 2 decades and has developed and led executive leadership programs for U.S. Army scientists and engineers. He is no stranger to SOPA, though, having supported us in various ways over the years, including facilitating a strategic planning process, running a National Athlete Leadership Summit that we sponsored, supporting the reorganization team as they developed a new field structure for SOPA to serve more athletes better, and planning and facilitating our Cities of Inclusion summits in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Lisa, can you tell everyone what Bob will be discussing with us tonight?
Tonight, Bob is going to help all of us start 2021 on the right foot by teaching us about goal setting and strategies to achieve our goals. It is now my pleasure to welcome Bob.
Thank you very much, Lisa and Kristen and Matt and Haley. I'm really excited to be here. You know, every time that I do some work and get it with you, folks at SOPA, athletes and staff and everything, it's just like I leave more energized than when I came in. So I'm looking forward to being energized tonight. I hope you're here ready to set some goals. Can we have the slides up? That would be great. So one goal at a time, goal setting for resilience 2021. Let's go to the next slide. We are now January, and you know, it's interesting, you know, January comes from Janus, the Roman god of gates and doorways. If you think about it, if you can see the image here, there's part of this Roman god that's looking to the past and part of it that's looking to the future. So if we think about being in January, oftentimes, you know, we're looking back over the past year. What have we done? What did we like? What have we learned? What went well? What would we do differently? Those kinds of reflection questions. And then we look out to the new year and say, okay, so what's it going to be for this year? What do I want to get done? How do I want this one to unfold?
There we go.
Where do I want to put my energy? So we have the Roman god Janus with us tonight, who's labeled our January month, looking back, looking forward. If we could have the next slide, please. So we're in the welcome and the opening right now. And Lisa's going to tell us just a really amazing story in just a moment, actually, about some goals that she set and where that's taken her. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what effective goals look like. You know, what makes for an effective goal? How many times have we set a goal and then we, you know, kind of didn't know if we got there, maybe we didn't get there. So what are the best practices tell us about effective goal setting? Then we're going to actually do some of that. So I'm going to ask you to listen and pay attention as we go through this, and then think about, hey, what's a goal I want to set for myself? We're going to put you into small groups tonight. You're going to get a chance to talk with a couple of three other people, share some of your thoughts about your goals for 2021, and then we'll come back and hear what you all have to say. So that's our agenda. And if we can go to the next slide, let's hear from Lisa.
My name is Lisa Barber, and I am a Special Olympics PA athlete from Philadelphia. I started to do at-home training to work on my sports. I also wanted to lose weight and build up my endurance. I wanted to help myself be healthier and last longer in games. I also did the Stride Challenge with my sister, Michelle. I put myself in the Stride Challenge for 25 miles. In October, Michelle and me did healthy lifestyles training. And I am now a health and fitness coordinator. That was when Michelle heard about the Stride Challenge. I told her that I had already signed up. Michelle said that we could still do it as a team. She said that we would do 200 miles. I said, 200 miles? I didn't think I could do it. Michelle said I could because I walk my dog Khaleesi 2 to 3 miles a day. And she does the same with her dog Roper. we completed the 200 miles in 38 days. I continued to walk till the end of the stride challenge and finished with 259 miles. As a result, I lost 23 pounds. I went from 178 to 155 pounds. I am currently doing the heptathlon. I first did the plank for summer games. I was able to hold it for 30 seconds. The plank is one of my exercises for the heptathlon. I can now hold it for 45 seconds. My plan in 2021 is to keep up with the heptathlon exercise, increase my times. I also plan to continue walking. I have currently walked nearly 360 miles, and my goal is to reach 400 miles by March.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for your great story. You know, and really inspiring. What I'd like to do is look to unpack a little bit. What do we learn, right, from Lisa's story about good goal setting? So if you hit down one slide, please. There we go. Great. So what did we hear from Lisa? We heard that she committed originally to 25 miles. And then her sister Michelle had a conversation with her and said, yeah, come on, let's, you know, we can do this. We can do probably 200. And she ends up doing 361, right? So that's pretty amazing. She lost 23 pounds. She signed up for the heptathlon. She set a goal to hold the plank for 30 seconds. She's now at 45, right? So what's next? She's got a plan, right? Decrease her times, continue walking, reaching 400 miles by March. We are now mid-January, and she's already at 361. I think she's going to blow that goal away. So if we could have the next slide, please. Yep, there we go. So what I'd like you to do, no, go back up, please. There you go. Yeah. So what I'd like you to do is, you've heard Lisa's story, and here's a little bit of summary of it. Go to the chat if you would, and just populate that chat. Write a few things in there. What led to Lisa's success? What are some of the things that she did that made her successful? Right, so dedication, Kimberly says, commitment. What else, folks? Support, right? She had support from her sister, encouragement. She set a big goal, right? She was clearly motivated. That led to her success. Tracy says she was determined. Yeah, Michelle says disciplined. Dan, energy. Chris, reasonable, right? She set a reasonable goal, and she way exceeded it. Christine, motivation. Amir, confident, right? So Sheena, she did a good workout. Sarah, she made more friends, right? Brave, good goal. Like she committed, right? Rosemary's saying she's brave. Look at all these great words that lead to success, right? So yeah, measured, right? So there was measurement. We knew if she got there or not. Helpful, big goal, honest, all of these things, right? Reachable, big goal, and she had fun with it, right? Walked the dog. Yeah. Great. So you can see that there's a lot of things that Lisa did, you know, in what you're saying there, that really helped her be successful. So I'm going to go to the next slide here and just give you a little model for goal setting. If you'd hit down one, please. Right. So when you're thinking about a goal, I'm going to talk about three elements here. One is you set an intention, which is the territory you want to set a goal in, you want to do something in, you commit to a goal, and you identify a micro action. And Lisa did all three of those. Please, down one, please. Right. So you set an intention, which is the direction or the territory you want to set a goal in. Something that's important to you, something that inspires you, that you're motivated to do, but it's general, it's high level. It's I want to lose weight, I want to get in shape, I want to improve my relationships, I want to get a new job, right? But they're general, right? In Lisa's case, she said, I want to lose weight and I want to build endurance so I can be healthier and last longer in games. So that's the high level. If we can have the next one, please. And then you set a goal around that intention. A lot of times what happens where goal setting falls down is that we leave our goal setting at the level of intention, which is too general. So then you get a little bit more specific. What are you actually going to do, right? When are you going to do it by, and how are you going to know if you got it done, right? So a commitment is specific, it's measurable, and it's time bound. So by when are you going to have it done? And you all talked about those things in as you were looking at Lisa's example in the chat. And Lisa's goal was to complete the stride challenge. There's a particular time frame that was happening in, so it's time bound. And she was going to do 25 miles. Will we know if she got it? Yeah, 25 miles. Did she? Yes. In fact, she did much better than that. Okay, down one, please. Right, and then this is notion of micro action. So you have your intention about the territory you want to set a goal in, the goal specific, measurable, time bound, and then a micro action is one small step forward, easily doable, right? So oftentimes we'll set a goal, but goal's kind of big. And the question is, well, what's that first step I'm going to take that's going to help me get there? And Lisa was really clear. She says, well, look, I walk my dog, so I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to make sure to do it every day, 2-3 miles, and that's going to get me to my goal, right? And the micro action is something that's easy to do, right? So you don't want your goal might be difficult, but your micro actions are easy and they get you there. Okay, so let's go down one slide, please. So here's some examples. So on the left-hand side, you've got Lisa's example that we just talked about. On the right-hand side, you might set a goal around, so Lisa's was around sports. On the right-hand side, the other example, you might set a goal around, clutter. Maybe your space is messy or whatever, right? So I want to be, or there's some things you want to get organized. So your intention in that case might be, I want to be more organized so I can reduce the clutter and find things. And one of the goals I want to set for myself is, I want to create 3 photo albums with highlights from those 3 years, 2018, 2019, and 2021. And I want to get that done by June 2021. So by June this year, right? So it's specific and it's measurable, and we've got a time frame for it. And the micro action is, I'm going to go get myself a folder, and by the end of January, I will have taken all of my sports pictures and put them in that folder and started to clip them together in different ways, right? So I have little stacks of those so they're ready. So that's the simple micro action that gets me to one of those albums. And I say I'm going to have 3 of them by June, right? Several months out. Let's go to the next slide, please. Right. And then this next one, nope, there you go. You might set a goal around work, I want to be more productive at my work and prepare for my next job. An example of the goal that you might set for that is, I want to develop further mastery in Excel. That's, the spreadsheet program. Be able to track annual budgets and automate monthly reports by June 30th, right? Well, by June 30th, you can look and say, hey, have I automated the annual budget? And do I have a monthly report process that's automated? Yes, no, right? Have I done it or not? And my micro step, first step, small step, I'm going to talk to my boss this week, and I'm going to create a little bit of a plan for how I'm going to get this done this week. Micro step, micro action, and then I'm going to work on this 3 or 4 hours a week as my plan. Okay, so those are some examples of how you want to set an intention. So what's the territory? What's the goal I want to set? Specific, measurable, time bound, and then what's the specific action I want to take? I'm going to talk about the micro action for a second, because if you're anything like me, you've probably set goals over the years, and sometimes we achieve them, sometimes we don't. The micro action is that first. Oops. is that first step I'm going to take that really gets me to, and you might take, 10, 11, 12, 15 micro steps, but the key is you're only doing one at a time. And in that way, it's not overwhelming. It's really clear. When I sit at my desk, I know what I have to focus on, and I'm going to move it forward. So if we can have the next slide, please. What I'm going to ask you to do here is I'm going to add, this is for you now, we're going to switch it. We talked about, Lisa gave us her story. We talked about what good goals look like. I'm going to ask you to start to think about an intention for yourself for 2021. Here's some domain. I'm going to give you 6 domains that you can think about. You don't have to use these domains. They're just ways to get you thinking. But think about what's your intention, because I'm going to ask you to set a goal today and talk to people about it and make a commitment, right? So think about your intention. So you could set a goal around your body. I want to get stronger, increase my stamina, increase my sports skills. You might have an intention around my body. Number 2, please. Number 2 is around diet, right? So, you might set an intention around, eating better, eating different, eating less sugar, eating more vegetables, the whole thing you know about, right? But you set a goal, so you might actually do it. Or I might have a goal to lose some weight. So that might be something. The third one might be around your mind. Maybe, in this COVID time where kind of a lot of us are home a lot, maybe we're getting a little bit, dull, it's like not terribly exciting. So I want to sharpen myself. I want to read some books. I want to learn something new. You might set an intention to do that. Number 4 might be around relationships. Again, this COVID time, we're not out with our friends as much as we used to be. We're not at work necessarily the way we used to be. And we will be again, that's coming, but we're not right now. So maybe you want to, spend some time focusing on, my relationships and what would I do to stay connected to my people in this time. The 5th one might be, we're calling it myself and my life. What projects, what hobbies, what interests do you have? And do you want to set a goal around some of those so that to enhance the what it's like to live your life? And the 6th one is your work. So if you're working, or you got a volunteer gig going, or you got a job, maybe you want to set a goal around improving. So if you just push one more down, here's your task, folks. Right? I'd like you to choose one of these 6 areas or another area. And think about what you want to focus on. If you have a piece of paper, go ahead, take a pen, write it down, right? You want to focus on body, diet, mind, relationships, some kind of project, something in your life, or your work, or something else. But this is the territory that you want to set a goal in. So I'm just going to be quiet for one moment and ask you to write that down. Okay, and if anybody wants to populate the chat a little bit with your intention, go ahead. It's not a requirement, but if you've got one, go ahead and pop it in there. And in a moment, I'm going to give you your next assignment where we're going to break out into some breakout groups and you're going to talk to some other people. There we go. We got some things coming in. Sharpen my mind and read more. Get a better sleep routine. Eat healthy, right? Rosemary wants to eat healthy. Brittany wants to get better sleep. James wants to sharpen his mind. Jerry's going to do puzzles. Jennifer, reduce the number of emails in my box. Like, get that organized. I am my family on Face Messenger. That's what Sheena's going to do, right? Buy a new car. Wow, nice. All right. Get some new transport there. Michelle's going to focus on diet. Focus on setting daily goals. Thomas, on your diet, right? Try new things, Rosemary. Dominique, my diet and my work. Great. See, so those are all great. So this is at the level of intention, right? So this is like the domain I'm going to focus on. Now, if we can go to the next slide, I'm going to add, we're going to break out into small groups now. And what I'm going to ask you to do in that small group is you're going to have 10 minutes. I believe we have groups of 3. Is that right, Haley?
That is correct.
Great. Through groups of 3. And here's your assignment. You've identified an intention. What I want you to do is when you're in your group, the 3 of you, each person, articulate your goal, what you're going to do by when, right? And how how you'll know. So be specific and measurable and time bound on your goal. And then what's your first small step that you're going to take to move forward? Okay, so that's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you have a phone and you want to take a screenshot of that, go ahead. And make sure everybody gets a chance to go. So manage your time, well, so, and you'll automatically go out to your breakout rooms and you will automatically be brought back and you'll get a little note telling you, hey, you're going to come back soon. Okay, 10 minutes in your groups. Check your watches so you can make sure everybody has a chance to go.
Hi, Christina.
Everybody's coming back.
Hi.
Hi, Bob.
I wanted Dominique and Donnie with us.
Hi.
Now you know the one.
How's everybody doing?
Hi, everybody.
Good.
The one lady did not had her camera on and muted.
Hey,
Lisa.
can I leave the meeting?
Okay, folks, welcome back.
Somebody wants to leave the meeting.
Can I leave the meeting because I have a important message? I mean, emergency.
Can you leave the meeting?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you need to go, feel free.
Yeah, because my parents need to tell me something and it's very important.
Okay, perfect.
So
Thank you for
I'll
asking.
catch up with you guys next time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Hey,
Hey,
bye.
there was a girl that was on muted, and she had no picture.
Oh yeah, she didn't turn her camera on. Okay. Well, here's what I'd like to do. There are a lot of us on this call, so if we all start talking, it's going to get crazy. You've had that experience, right? So what I'd like to do is actually just mute everybody. So Haley, if you could do that for us, that'd be great. And then there we go. I was muted too. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start using the chat. So you want to pull up the chat? And what I'd like you to do, so we can hear a little bit about what you've been doing, what you talked about, is go ahead and write in the chat your goal or your micro action, right? So write what, the first time you wrote something about your intention, right? The territory that you want to, you want to focus on. Now it's time for a goal. So go ahead and just take a moment and put a goal or a micro action in there. Let's see what you've come up with. Okay, so Kimberly's going to work on endurance for a 10K. Nice. James, you're going to read 20 books in 2021. Your micro action is 1 to 3 chapters per day. I love it, right? Garen's going to clean out the basement. Dan's going to lose some weight and get in better shape. Good for you. Sarah's going to lose some weight. Maybe you and Dan should talk. You can make a little plan together. Anthony, you can stay in touch with more athletes by calling 1 per day for a month. Good for you. Call me too if you want. Victoria, your goal is to work out. Great. So it'd be great to say, how often do you want to work out? And, how will you know, right? Kelsey, exercise. Great. So what exercise are you going to do? And, how will you know if you got there? Is a number of miles? Are you going to work on a particular thing, right? Claire Walsh-Miller is going to lose weight. Put a number on that. Let's see, Dominique, goal is to lose weight, and Jeanette as well. Okay, great. So it would be great, like you lose weight. So I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose whatever, right? So that would be great. Make it a little more specific. Perfect. I want to work out and do my running for Special Olympics and clean my bedroom. That's a lot of stuff. Those are a lot of intentions. So set specific goals there. Great. Kendall, work out, riding your bike, lose weight, eat. All right, presume that means eat less or eat differently, right? Seth, exercise more, lose weight, a lot of weight. Good for all of you. Hang out with my friends, Victoria, Nina. Stay active, eat healthy. My goal is to get a better sleep routine, set an alarm on my phone when I want to go to bed and wake up so I can get better sleep and feel better, so I don't crave those bad fatty foods and have better energy. Wow, that's very specific. We're going to know, right? You're going to know if you're doing that or not. Good. Brian's going to walk. Wow, look at all these. Just you go ahead and scroll through them, folks. I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot of them, but there's just a lot really good stuff. All right, Kristen's going to save money and buy a new car. We give us a ride.
If I get a big enough car, look at all my friends I have here on this Zoom meeting.
So you're going to get yourself a bus. Okay, Chloe, for Lancaster County, I want all athletes to be more fit and healthy and sleep and healthy drinking. Nice. Run 5K, run 4K. There you go, 25. Sarah's going to lose 25. You'll know if you got there, right? Stand on the scale, you'll know. Love that, nice and measurable. Get your driver's license. Nice, Amir. Hang out with my family. Great, more connections, right? Great. Doing 500 puzzle with donuts. That's great. So that's Jerry. Oh, that's a direct message to me, so you guys can't see that. That was just private between you and me. Sorry, Jerry, I read that out for everybody. Right, strength and endurance. Look at all this. This is going to be a great year for you guys. I love this. Nice. So here's the thing, folks. You did a really good job, and it sounds like you had good conversations with each other to come up with this when you're in your breakout groups. Do you have any questions? This would be a time where we can, you just ask questions. If you had a question about, a goal or something, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll answer it. We got some hands up there. Victoria, do you want to unmute yourself? Ask your question, and then go ahead and mute yourself again. Oh, you're muted.
She might not be able to unmute.
Oh, you might not be able to. Okay.
No, you should be able to unmute now.
There we go.
Okay,
Go ahead,
here's my
Victoria.
question.
Yes.
My question is that I've never occurred to me of doing this before. So how would I be in touch with you guys in case if this something is occur to me again in this meeting?
That's a great question. I don't know. Do you guys have forums where you get together, and support each other? What I would say, Victoria, maybe is think about that small group that you were in, right? The group you just met with, and connect with those people and have an ongoing. Maybe you talk once a week about your goals and how you're doing, or something like that. That might be a way to do that.
I wonder.
That works.
Yeah, cool.
I need to go downstairs for one of my meds, and I'll be right back.
Perfect.
Imagine,
the one ground rule I have in all of my sessions, and any of you have been in any of my sessions, the first ground rule is take care of yourself. So that's what you're doing. Go ahead and do that. Marilyn, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question? And then we've got some in the chat.
This is Joshua Stranix. I will lose at least 30 to 40 healthy. So.
Your microphone is
Trying to track. Was that a question?
Yes. I just want to share this with everyone that I will lose at least 30, 35 pounds or more if I can.
30, 35 or more. Awesome. Put that in the chat.
My guilty pleasure is eating donuts, and
Hey, I got it for laundry. Can I go?
What's that?
I got it for laundry.
You can go, Amy. That's fine.
Yeah. Great.
Right.
So let's do this. If we could go ahead and mute folks, let's go to the chat because there are a number of good questions in there. I want to see if I can answer those. So we've got one here. What's a good time frame to have between short and long-term goals? Like, what's a short-term goal and a long-term goal? I think that's for you to decide, right? We're looking at 2021, so long-term might be for the year, and you might set by June I'm going to do this, and maybe by the end of the year I'm going to do that. It could be longer. I think it's really just for you to decide. The thing is, your goals can be ambitious, so like it's a stretch. You're going to try to do, push yourself a little bit. But you want the micro actions, that for those first steps, to not be a stretch. That's what'll get you in trouble, right? You said a big thing, and then we have to have the specific steps to get there. Let's see, what do we have here? How do you stay motivated when the goal is long-term and possibly overwhelming? 2 things you can do, right? 1, make sure that your micro steps, like your micro actions, are easy to do, and you can do them, because as we saw in Lisa's story, right? She got started, and then all of a sudden, like, she was exceeding her goals, and it's like this energy comes when you start to meet your goals, right? So make your micro steps easy to do. The other thing is get a buddy, right? Connect with somebody else who's going to ask you about that. I'm trying to write a book, and I've been struggling to write it. And I have a friend that calls me once a month, and she says, all right, how you doing on the book? And I'm like, stop asking me that question. She said, no, because you set a goal. So I'm going to ask you that question. I'm going to keep calling you and until that book's written, right? So support's important. So having somebody, somebody check in on you, somebody you check in with, and specific steps can help you keep motivated. What else do we have in the box here? Any other questions? Can you change your goal? Guess what, right? These are your goals, so you can change them for sure. The thing is, ask yourself, is that a worthy goal? There was a reason you set the goal back when. But if you change your mind and you want to work on something else or do something else, absolutely, you can totally do that. What else do we have here? Any other questions in here? Yeah, listen, I mean, one of the things that you want to make sure of is that you're working on things that you care about, right? I mean, sometimes they're hard, right? Losing weight can be hard. If I'm getting up and exercising can be hard, because I like to sit around, and, if I'm sitting around a lot, it's harder and harder to get up, right? So sometimes our goals are things that aren't easy necessarily, and yet they're good for us. And when we actually do them, we actually feel good. So you can certainly change your goal, absolutely. And set goals around stuff that matters, stuff that makes a difference to your health, to your well-being, to your connection with other people, that kind of stuff. And certainly if you've achieved your goal, celebrate, right? Tell the world, go off mute and say, yes, I did this thing, and then celebrate, and then, set the next thing. How do you deal with distractions that keep you from attaining your goal? Love that question, right? Because there's always something else to do, something to read, something else to do rather than do what I said I was going to do. That's why the micro actions are really important, because the micro actions don't take a lot of energy. They don't take a lot of will. You don't have to like, I got to get up, go do that. The micro action, I'm going to walk around the block. Really simple, right? I'm going to walk around the block, and then I'm going to do that a few times, and then I'm going to walk twice, and then I'm going to do it 3 times. So right now I'm only going to do 1. And I'll have to just put my shoes on and walk to the door. That's the micro action. Once you're out the door, you know what you're doing. You get, you're about it, right? Cool. What else do we have? How do you get remotivated if you lose your motivation? That's a great question. We do it. I'm just, how do you get remotivated? Well, I think social support is so important in terms of getting your goals accomplished. So letting other people know what your goals are, have them ask you about it. When you fall off, you don't have to be hard on yourself. Just set a micro action. One micro, your micro action literally might be, I'm going to put my running shoes on and I'm going to walk toward the door. Everybody can do that. Once you get to the door, you're going to walk through it and you're going to go out and do what you said you were going to do, right? If you want to eat better, make sure you have, got good stuff around. Make sure you got celery and carrots and all that, all that stuff around. And what I do is I can't have sugar in my house because I am a candy guy. And if it's here, I'm going to find it. My wife will put on, she'll have all the stuff to make cookies, and we'll have, chocolate chips and stuff in the kitchen, I'll find them. She'll hide them, I'll find them. So we just have a rule. We don't keep that stuff in the house because otherwise I'll find it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Is it good to write down your goal and post it where you can see it? Absolutely. I don't know if you can see over here on my wall. I don't know if you can see that, but right back here, all this stuff on the wall, those are my goals, right? And I've got little, I've got, Post-its up there, and they sit on my wall to remind me every day of what they are. They stay in front of me. So yes, writing them down is good, because if you just speak it, it's just there, we could forget it. You write it down, you put it on your mirror when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, you're like, did you do it? Brushing your teeth at night, did you do it? Right? Or you put it on, someplace where where you put it on the TV, Let's see, what else? Anything else? Kristen, am I missing anything? Anything that you've seen go by that we haven't answered?
No, you've actually caught most of them I've been watching here.
Okay. Sarah wants to know, what if you make it? Celebrate, right? Celebrate, be joyous, tell people, tell your story. Lisa did a great job telling her story today, and she's really inspired all of us. So it's inspiring to hear people's successes, right? Great.
I think one thing, Bob, that I don't know if a lot of people had asked, but what if you don't meet your goal? Or maybe you don't meet the micro action you set or the time frame you've set. Can you tell people what to do if they're getting distressed with that?
Yeah, so sometimes we set a goal that's too ambitious for now, right? Maybe it's not too ambitious forever, but it's too ambitious for now. So it's okay to scale it back. And the thing about the micro behavior, the micro action, if you're having trouble doing your micro action, choose a smaller one. Right? You don't have to be hard on yourself about it. It's normal. We do these things, right? It's just the way it is. But choose a smaller one, because it's meant to be simple and easy, right? What else do we have here? Great. Okay. So let's put the slides back up. I've got one more little thing I want to share with you as we move toward our 8 o'clock time here. Next slide, please. So how do you make it stick? We talked a little bit about these things, but I want to give you a little summary. If we can go to the next slide, it says, look, write them down, right? It's real easy for them just to go out of your mind, so write it down. Secondly, stay true to your micro actions. If you're, like we said, if you're challenged by the micro action you set, make it a smaller one. Right? Because it's meant to be. The thing is, when you move, you take one little step, you take another little step, it builds momentum. So it's important just to get started. And if you're not getting started, your micro step's probably too big. A friend of mine, was wanting to start exercising, but she just couldn't figure it out. So what she started to do was she started to march in place while she watched Jeopardy. And so she's watching TV. And during the ads, she'd stand up and march in place just as a way to get started. Next thing you know, she's walking around the block. A couple months later, she joined the gym, right? So that's those are the micro actions. Success begets success. Get support. Get a buddy. Get somebody to check in with you. You check in with them, and review your progress. Look at how am I doing, right? You might take a little piece of paper and write down, here's what I did today, before you go to bed, have a little thing by your bed. Here's what I did toward my goal today. Get up in the morning and look at your goal, so you could kind of reprogram it into your thinking, right? So write them down, stay true to your actions, get support, and review your progress. Really important. The other thing I just want to share really, really quickly as we wrap up here is some resources that you can use. If we can click down to the next slide and then the following one. There's 3 books that I recommend. I don't know these people. I've read their books. It's great. They're really good. One is called The Best Year Yet. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see this is a great one for looking back and looking forward. They ask 10 questions. You can see I put them here. Maybe we can ask Haley to send the slide deck out so you can have these 10 questions too, right? When you look back over the last year, what do you remember the most? Who were your people? What was your best entertainment? What was most important, right? What was your biggest surprise? All those kind of questions. What did you learn? What has changed? That's looking back, and then looking forward. What do you want this new year to be? Right? How do you want it to be memorable? So that's a great book for that. The next slide talks about atomic habits, right? And that's this whole thing about, you know, all big things come in small beginnings, right? That thing about, if you want to start walking, make your practice. I'm going to put on my running shoes and start walking toward the door. It's very small, but you know what? It'll get you out, right? And once you're out, you're out. You're going to go. You're going to do your thing. Okay, so that's a really good book, Atomic Habits. And then the third one is The Power of Habits, right? So how do you build a new habit? How do you identify a routine, experiment? How do you reward yourself? Think about what's the cue that gets me to do it. You know, maybe it's that Post-it that I put on my mirror in the morning. Maybe it's the sign I put on the refrigerator that tells me to eat good stuff. And then have a plan for how you're going to do it. Right, so those are 3 books that you can look at if you're interested. You can even Google these folks. So you probably find some stuff online that they've got. Yeah, so it's been great to be with all of you tonight. Thanks for showing up and, you know, listening and setting some goals. It'll make your lives better, I think. And so let me kick it back to Kristen and Lisa.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for helping us prepare to make 2021 the best year yet.
Yes,
I know that with all the dialogue tonight, that the athletes and volunteers that are on this call are already thinking about the goals they want to set and ready to get started and achieve all of them. I think the strategies we also discussed will help everyone keep their New Year's resolutions this year. Let's wrap up this webinar, Lisa.
This concludes our Team Tuesday webinar. Our next one will be on Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m. As a reminder, these webinars are recorded and posted to the SOPA YouTube channel.
Thank you to everyone for joining this webinar. We hope you enjoyed our guest speaker, Bob Devlin. Thank you again, Bob, and a special thank you to Lisa Barber for helping us lead this webinar tonight.
You're welcome. Bye, folks. Lisa, you rock.
We will see you all again next month, and until then, stay healthy and stay safe.